Hello everybody and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer, and of course we're going to be speaking about Saints today because this man on screen, Nathan Jones, has been sacked by Southampton in which was a pretty terrible run for him. They do say all things don't last forever, but for Nathan Jones and his Southampton career, it was just 95 days that he lasted in charge of Southampton. In that time, he only saw one league win, and in fact, 8 of his 9 Premier League games in charge resulted in a loss. And more to the point as well, back-to-back 4 times defeats at home as well. So it's no wonder that the fans did not take to him. It's no wonder why we're already speaking about this man having to depart. And we're going to look at in this video, we're going to ask, was it the right decision? Is Nathan Jones purely to blame? And the more important question for what you guys are probably more interested in now, can the new man that does come in, whoever that may be, keep Southampton up? So let's jump in and speak about it, though, because he has been relieved of his duties. And as I say, really not good time here at Southampton. In fact, in just his 14 games in charge, 9 of them ended up in defeat. And to be honest, it was only his, his bit of success in the Carabao Cup, which really gave him any credit for anything at his time at Southampton. During his time, obviously, he questioned the fans. Towards the end, he questioned the players. He come out with some extraordinary interviews as well, which probably is something he'll be more remembered for than what he actually did on the pitch. And I think that was really something that was kind of obvious in yesterday's game, I should say. Because if we go back and take a look at yesterday's game, I want to bring up the formation to start with, because this is something which I think is really important. The fact that he wasn't even playing players in their best position. Now, I think we could focus on quite a few players on this pitch, but the one I want to pick out the most is Southampton. Now, the main reason for that is he looked an absolute delight yesterday. But when Wolves went down to 10 men, I think Nathan Jones missed something really obvious. And that was, why was he not just put out on the wing, which for me is clearly his best position? And let's not forget as well, Nathan Semedo was on a yellow card. And also, Southampton, every time he did venture out onto the wing, looked like he had his number. You've then got to wonder, sometimes you've just got to do the basics right. You've got a 6'7" striker leading the line. Put Southampton out on the wing. Go at Semedo. We know historically Semedo has a mistake in him as well, and has been prone in recent times actually to give away a second yellow. You could have ended up then in a position where Wolves are then down to 9 men, and we're probably not now speaking about Nathan Jones being sacked. And I think that was just one of the many things where you could look at Nathan Jones and go, you're not even doing the basics right. You're not playing players in the best position, and you're not adapting to the game that's in front of you. And I think that's the main reason why he has had to go. I think also if we go back to obviously the game yesterday, and I'm sure Saints fans, you won't want to dive into it too much, but I think there's some really other important things to take from this. Look at the possession in the second half. Wolves had more possession. And what's really obvious to me and really concerning if I'm a Saints fan is I'm looking at it and going, there was periods in the second half where we're actually getting outnumbered when Wolves are attacking. We're having 4 versus 3 scenarios, or even 4 versus 4 or 3 versus 3. We're giving Wolves space. Yes, maybe it's because we're pushing on. We're trying to kill off the game. But again, that shows an ineptity. Is that even a word? I don't know. But inept in his tactics, in the way that he was basically, he wasn't adapting to the game. He was overcommitting players, and he was really causing scenarios which weren't much needed. I think one thing you do have to ask yourself, though, is this purely is he purely to blame? And I don't think purely to blame. I don't think you could say that. I think the Saints players themselves need to look in the mirror. Yesterday, the work rate from Wolves and the belief from Wolves was obvious. You can blame the manager from taking away the belief of the Saints players, but you can't blame him fully for that lack of work late, which I saw, especially late on. How was Southampton getting overrun in midfield, etc., etc. And I think Saints, I think the players, or maybe it's just purely because they just felt a bit disillusional with what Nathan Jones was doing, but at the same time, I don't think he's fully to blame. I think the players can give more, and they should have a look at themselves in the mirror, especially when the next manager comes in, and think about what more they can give to this team, give to the fans, and more importantly, give to the next manager to get Saints out of this mess. Guys, just a quick one from me before we get back to the video. If you are enjoying the content, please do me a favour and hit that like button. We're also going to be doing a video tomorrow, either looking at the next Saints manager or the favourite for the next Saints manager job. So there's going to be plenty more content, so why not hit that subscribe button as well? And let's get back to the video. Let's go. Guys, let's move on and speak about the away from Nathan Jones now. And let's actually speak about my opinion on what I think, whether the next manager that comes into Southampton can save you guys from relegation. We have a look at the table as it stands now. Depending when you watch this video, you might know the conclusion of Leeds Man United, and you might know the conclusion possibly even of Everton, who take on Liverpool on Monday night. So the table could look slightly different. But as we record at the moment, there's an obvious 4-point gap. It could be up to 5, depending on what happens with Leeds, which Southampton need to close. Now, it sounds a bit, but if you can get the manager in a good time, and I think that's really important. I think Saints need to get in the manager at a good time, good pace. I don't think this is something that can go on for 2 or 3 weeks. I think he needs to be in before the next game week, because if you don't do that, then the league could really start to run away. I think if they can do that, though, I think it's still possible. I see players that have a lot to offer, and I think if you can start playing them in the correct positions and getting the best out of them, which you'd hope the new manager will do, I don't think it's a case that Southampton are going to end up the team come the bottom end of the season, sitting there right at the bottom, fully away from this relegation battle, and the ones that ultimately just drop off and face, the impending relegation early. I don't think it's quite that bad. I think a lot of teams have improved over the January transfer window, but Southampton are one of them. I think what you look at the difference between all the other teams at the moment compared to obviously what Southampton have is that confidence, that belief that they can get out there. We have a look, obviously Wolves got the result against Saints on Saturday, but you also have a look at Bournemouth. They got a draw against Newcastle. You go up to West Ham, managing to get obviously also getting a draw, but that was against Chelsea. And Leicester are probably starting to sneak away now from that relegation battle, obviously getting a big result themselves. Teams are starting to get results in and around that area, and that's not been happening for Saints. And I think what you've really got to focus on, if you are a Southampton, in charge of Southampton, is bringing in a manager quick, getting the best out of these new players as well, gelling them quick and getting this team going. Because what you don't want is you don't want to get good when it's too late, because a lot of teams have improved, a lot of teams have got confidence, and a lot of teams have spent big. So do I think Saints can be saved? I don't think it's too late to fully roll them out and say that they're down, but I think the replacement needs to happen quickly. Guys, as always, though, do let me know your thoughts. Would you agree with me? Do you think the sacking of Nathan Jones was fair? Let me know who you want in as well. As I've mentioned earlier on in the video, we will be doing a video tomorrow covering the early favourites, unless Southampton have already made the move, and we'll have a look at your new manager. And also, let me know in the comments as well, do you think this team can be saved? Hopefully, I'll catch you on the next video. Hit that subscribe button for me and that like button as well. Have a good rest of your weekend, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.